Whatever you have to do. However long it takes. Promise me you'll find your way home. Furiosa. Give me this promise.
You've made 5 Mad Max films over the course of the last 45 years. What drives you to return to the wasteland over and over again?
Well, I honestly thought that I wouldn't make another film after I made the first Mad Max, only because it was, I was quite bewildered by the process. The second film was made in response to that working somehow around the world, particularly internationally, and I began to see somehow that we had tapped into an archetype, a pretty universal archetype that's in all cultures and across all time, really. Best articulated, of course, by Joseph Campbell. Mm-hmm. So I really got into the notion that it's basically mythological in some sense, and these stories, like the American Western, are essentially allegories. Mm. And back at that time, they said that Mad Max was kind of a Western on wheels. I think that's, in the same way that you're dealing with pretty elemental worlds, the rules of engagement are much more simple, and you can get a lot into those sort of stories. So here I am all these years later, where I'm still interested in not only how to tell stories, but why we tell each other stories. And that goes hand in hand with the ever rapidly evolving technologies available to filmmaking. I mean, making films today, the tools are just so much more sophisticated, and than we're working in celluloid and in analog, with sound and so on. Sound at every level, every turn, the tools are just brilliant. So that's why I'm still doing it.
And yet, you say that we have more tools. That would suggest to me that we've got more camera trickery, we've got more CGI, we've got more of that sort of thing, which I'm sure that I know you've availed yourself of that in other films, but the thing about Furiosa is that it feels practical. When I see someone bounce off the roof of a car going through the desert, I feel like I've really seen someone bounce off the roof of a car and that it's not a trick.
Yeah, look, this is a film where no one defies the laws of gravity. Mm-hmm. There are no flying people or vehicles, and so and you can animate them, you can motion capture them, but if that's what the majority of the audience are looking at any given moment, you've got to make sure it's as real as you can. Mm-hmm. And I've been able to work with really great people who can do all that safely. The biggest thing, I would say, the biggest difference between working then and now is that we can do it much more safely. Mm-hmm. We can put cast and stunt crew in rigs, in harnesses, be cabled, not just with one cable, but you can have redundancy in case something goes wrong. You can have crane arms. You can do that with your cameras. You can have them in shot. You can and erase them at the end, and that makes a huge difference.